Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outerhaven podcast, episode 68.5 E3. It finally happened. Yes, we're calling it E3 2015. It finally happened. Things that were promised to us 10, maybe 15 years ago finally happened this year. Finally became a thing. And there's a lot to talk about. We have an all-star cast. We have some new people on there too. So we're going to introduce them, starting with the new people first. Very good friend of mine, the co-host of the upcoming Overdrive News Live with myself, Mr. Tony Ortiz. Tony, what's up, man?
How's it going, Clint? It's good to be back, man.
Yeah, man, it's a long time since we've done a podcast together too. So
Yeah, it's like a
almost a year.
resurrection, if you will.
Oh yeah, indeed. We also got a brand new writer who just got signed on to the Outer Haven, Jason Kwasnicki from New Jersey, making his way to Queens in the next year. So he's moving to New York. Jason, what's up, man?
Hey, not much, man. How are you? I'll actually be there in a few weeks. So
Oh, man.
sooner than you think.
Oh, yo, let's go. The Outer Haven moving east. Let's do this. We also got some old heads too. William Shadows Cock. William, what's up, man?
I swear the last name's always good to me.
I swear to God, he puts emphasis on your last name on
Yo,
purpose.
dude, you just called yourself the cock blocker. There you go.
But overall, things have been going well. I just saw the new video regarding to the English voice acting to Xenoblade Chronicles X. Woo!
Yo, is there any Johnny Young Bosch involved?
It's only all females. Is Lynn and Elma, and what I can tell, like some people saying it's one of them's actually Jennifer Hale. I think.
I'm fine with that. We also got the angry elf, Carlos Abdul. Carlos, what's up, man?
Yo, don't let your soul get weighed down by gravity's pull.
And then we also got the man who agrees with me that Metroid Prime Federation Force is the best game ever. Yo, the HNIC, the big boss, the ordinary guy, Keith Hacks Mitchell. Keith, what's up, man?
The sky is up.
Indeed. All right, so we're gonna go in chronological order. We're gonna first talk about Bethesda. We're gonna rant. We're gonna we're gonna talk about the order of how Bethesda. We're gonna rank our favorite conferences, in terms of worst to best. And I'm gonna
Before we
start.
do that, do we even count that PC event?
Yes,
Yes, we do.
we have to count it.
Really?
The Tonight Show.
Barely even.
The Tonight Show with PC Gamer. I'm just saying, that's what it was.
Like, that ran for 2 hours? Really?
Yeah, it was the Tonight Show. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hold up. With Carson, Leno, or
Fallon?
Fallon?
With Seth Meyers. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The guy,
jeez.
the show nobody watches because it's at like 2:00 at night. Like, come on, son. But so I want to start off with Jason, because he's the newest person on staff. From 1 to 7, from 7 to 1, what would be your rank? And make it quick because we want to just jump in and get as much covered today as possible.
Yeah. Wait. All right. So we're starting from best to worst.
Worst to best.
Oh, worst to best. Sorry. Honestly, I felt Nintendo really hit the bottom there. I was not feeling Nintendo's Direct. Going up from there, Square Enix wasn't their individual press conference wasn't too exciting either. There were a few cool things, but keep going up. Bethesda, Ubisoft. I really like the South Park announcement. Yeah, that I was a big Stick of Truth fan, so happy to see they're coming back with another one. EA had that awesome Battlefront presentation. And honestly, it was really neck and neck for me between Microsoft and Sony. I only give it to Sony simply because they showed off a lot of cool games, and Horizon, that new IP from Guerrilla.
Yeah.
Definitely the thing I'm most interested in right now.
Really
But
good.
Microsoft had, some really cool announcements themselves. I was quite surprised, actually.
All right, so we're gonna go to Tony. Tony, rank them if you will.
Well, I got Nintendo at the bottom for obvious reasons. I don't want to sound biased, but I haven't been interested in playing a Nintendo console in over 10 years or buying one. So nothing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything from them that's like, hey, buy my system. I'm It's really tough too because a lot of the handheld stuff you can get excited about if you have one and you're into handheld gaming. But now with like the last couple of years with Android phones and tablets, it's like I don't need to buy a DS anymore. I can just do everything on my device that I'm already carrying with me. So it's really hard to, like actually think about that stuff at E3 because it's in the back of your mind. After that, I got Ubisoft. Like I haven't seen an Ubisoft game come out in I don't know 5 years that I've been interested in playing. Splinter Cell's kind of gone
Good year.
downhill. Like it peaked 5 years ago, and now it's like they just can't figure out what to do with the series. It's the only a game from them that I'm really interested in at all. Then I got Bethesda. It's like, what have you done for me lately? And it's pretty much been nothing except for a trailer, that has no gameplay in it. So, and some stills. Then after that, I have Microsoft. I was excited to hear about backwards compatibility. What I don't know though is we didn't get any details. Like, is it we know it's gonna be software emulation, but what games are gonna be added? The developers are supposed to be responsible. Like, is that I don't know if that's entirely
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's,
like
I'm
developer.
kind of iffy on that because like
Right.
it's one thing is backwards compatibility, it's the another thing when it's selected backwards compatibility.
Here's the thing. It's not
Exactly.
even,
Right.
It's not even
Another key
Microsoft.
is if anybody remembers the original backwards compatibility from Xbox original to Xbox 360, it was they added games arbitrarily to a list, and they were often with the software emulation model, often with flaw. I used to play games and have them hard lock on me constantly and not work properly. So what does it matter if it doesn't work? So I want to know more about that. If they gave me more information, they might have been higher than EA. Then I've got EA just because I know EA gets a lot of flack and hate. But they just consistently put out titles that you would consider buying, and they always have something good to show, especially with video and gameplay. Like they put it in your eyes and it sticks in your mind better. And then number one, I've got Sony. Sony's just been on a tear lately. They have everything that everybody wants to play, and outside of PC, exclusive games, and they've got the best system. So they're just building on the victories from the last couple E3s, and I mean, it's pretty much it's that simple, I guess, with them. I mean, what else can I really go off on for Sony? They've done it all, really, in the last couple of years.
All right, so let's go to Will. I mean, do we really wait? Do we really have to go to Will? Nintendo's number one. Carlos, what's yours?
Okay, hey. Just because
okay.
I love Nintendo doesn't mean I cannot be rational.
And I thought we
Alright.
already talked about this, Will. You came to the epiphany, I came to the epiphany, so
I also agree with the general consensus. I mean, okay, first is worst. It's definitely PC. I mean, heck, who the hell watches 2 hours? Come on. And then next, I mean, EA. I mean, I'm glad they showed Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, sure, finally get the next clue of Mass Effects, but everything else is nah. Square Enix, obviously, is pretty damn boring. The only thing I really like is one Kingdom Hearts 3 that I'm happy about, and plus the creator of Nier with that moon face mask on him. That was pretty much the saving grace. That's what I like about. And then Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, of course. Like, yeah, it's another Assassin's Creed game. I love my Assassin's Creed games, so that's also pretty nice. And The Division was pretty. It's not bad. I like it. And yes, of course, Bethesda is also Bethesda and Nintendo are pretty much tied up. Either Bethesda and Microsoft pretty much tie on both sides because I mean, I love Fallout. Well, I haven't actually played Fallout, but I gotta give props to it. Yes, Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is looking pretty damn amazing. And plus with the Pip-Boy, I mean, yeah, that looks pretty nice.
you have such a high tolerance. I don't know how you do it, dude.
Yes, okay, yeah, and then of course Microsoft with the backwards compatibility, all that. So maybe Bethesda, Microsoft, and Nintendo probably on that bottom scale then. So pretty much on the even scale because yeah, I admit yes, Nintendo was definitely weak. I mean, sure, Muppets was very funny. It was very good. It was funny at first with the Muppets and all that, but everything
For like
else,
5 seconds.
yes, and then after all the news that happened, so we expected all this, and that's one thing because there's really nothing that wasn't surprising. No big bombs were dropped off. I mean, all these things we knew. I mean, we just needed extra information. For example, Xenoblade Chronicles coming out on the holiday season on December 4th, which I'm happy about that. And it's as what the other guy said that that Fire Emblem Fire Emblem Fates and the new Shimigami X Atlas crossover. That project looks pretty damn awesome. So those are pretty much our saving grace. Everything else is pretty much meh. And naturally give Sony the number one top because one, Final Fantasy VII, which I haven't played, but I'm excited so I can finally get myself into the franchise. And Shenmue freaking 3, man, that Kickstarter. I mean, I'm a proud backer of it, and I'm happy. Which they blew it out of the water, which I'm happy.
I heard you don't like money, Will. All right, we're gonna go over to Carlos. Carlos, gonna rank yours quickly, and then we got myself and Keith left. So yeah.
Man, I wish it wasn't done quickly because I have so much shit to say. But all right, first of all,
save it for episode 69. But
yeah, that's true. All right. Going copying from Will, the PC. You know what? I don't even watched it, but I knew it was going to be 3 hours plus. So like, no, thanks.
It was actually 2 hours.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Yeah, then I would have been a lot worse than Squeenix. Oh my god, I wanted to turn my fucking hair off with Squeenix, man. These guys do not know how to do a press. This is why we are never letting Squeenix ever have another press conference again. They don't realize that they're in America. They need to hype. They're not in Japan. This is not a business shit. Then Nintendo, very disappointed in Nintendo. They had a very weak presentation. Weak announcements. How the fuck do you screw up Star Fox Zero with your announcement and your clarity, plus no online multiplayer? What the fuck?
Oh, right.
At least not yet.
Let's talk about 30th anniversary of Mario. No one cares. Bethesda.
Wow.
I didn't watch that.
Yo, Carlos,
Shots fired.
Hey, it's true. I watch Mario speedrunning all the time. I don't care.
I don't get. You know what? I'm gonna give Nintendo props for the World Championship. That last match was clutch. We're moving on. Yo, Bethesda.
Yo, and
I don't
Reggie
really
owning the shit out that dude. Reggie owning the shit out that dude. Yo.
Yeah, I know. Reggie was on fire, definitely. Oh, in hell. Anyway, Bethesda, I only put that because of Doom. Oh my god, Doom. That was so good. Ubisoft, it is only there for two reasons. Aisha Tyler and For Honor. I like For Honor. I thought it was interesting. I like the developer of For Honor. You know, I like his attitude. I like his spirit.
Yes,
and also, Aisha Tyler is consistently the only good thing about the Ubisoft press conference. That's it. Microsoft, they had a lot of interesting technology. They had a lot of, the backward compatibility was a little bit good. But unfortunately, I did not see the games I wanted to see from them. I mean, literally, Killer Instinct, the PC announcement was on the PC game. That should have been a Microsoft.
No. That makes sense to make it for a PC thing because they focus the PC thing on PC.
Also,
games.
at least hype up Season 3. At least have something about Season 3.
Because actually, here's the thing: they didn't even get story mode out until the day after, so you can't really sit down and fault them for that. They gotta finish the game.
Recore was kind of interesting, although also a little myth that it's another Inafune game, and like Inafune, get your shit straight. Finish Mighty Number 9, then go back to do another one. EA, I am very surprised. It's like Ubi and EA switch places. Now, Ubi is like totally complacent and just doing nothing but shooters. EA had a lot of variety of games. And of course, Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, and not Horizon. Sorry, that's Sony.
Battlefront.
Battlefront.
That's Pele.
Oh, yeah,
Pele, let's go.
Pele, that's true. Although, yeah, I was kind of bored for a little while with Pele. I mean, I love you, Pele. You're the best, but come on. Chop, we gotta go. And finally, Sony dropping those megaton bombs all across the screen. Plus, they had lots of cool games like Horizon and the announcement of GT7. But yeah, that's all I can think about it with Sony.
Wait, what announcement of GT7?
Whoa.
What?
Did I miss like 10 minutes of the conference?
Nope. It was rumored. It didn't happen.
Oh, it didn't happen?
No,
there was no GT7 thing.
Well, I kind of missed 10 minutes, so I guess.
Even I was salivating at the mouth right now.
I was like, GT7. Oh, no GT7. Damn you, Sony.
And plus The Last Guardian as well. They finally showed us something as well.
Yeah, that was part of the Megaton bombs. I was like, oh my god, Last Guardian, Final Fantasy VII, and then Shenmue 3. You won. It's done. It's over. Desecrated all over your opponents, man.
Nah, hold that. Chalk that.
Here we go.
No, wait, your turn.
Yeah, I'm waiting. No. It technically is my turn because then you're last. Remember?
No, you're last.
No,
you go ahead.
You gotta go. So
Yeah. So
pretty
much. All right. So my list pretty much was Nintendo, simply because my expectations were low, and I knew that they were. I knew Reggie confirmed what I knew, that they were only going to be talking about things that came out 2015 and early 2016. So I'm kind of on the same wavelength with Reggie Fils-Aime with that. So that's what they're bottom on mine. Square Enix is kind of like low on my list too, because I really don't care. I really don't care about most of what they had to offer. Maybe Just Cause 3, because I'm sorry, Just Cause is a great series.
Yes, it is.
For me, then would be the PC gaming show. The only real hype thing was the technology. For me, especially that computer. Keith, that computer was beautiful.
But they didn't even show the computer. Okay, they put it on display. Hey, look. Okay, can you show me what it does? How powerful it is?
I know that's. I mean, I was disappointed with that, but it was a beautiful computer, and like my imagination was flowing with that. Now, I just gave my bottom three. My top five, my bottom 2 or 3. I gave my bottom 3. Ubisoft is still towards the bottom as well, because I'll be honest, I really only cared about Aisha Tyler. I'm
There
sorry.
you
My
get it
man.
again.
I'm telling you, it's the only good
Like,
thing left.
real talk.
So,
But then now, it's funny.
You're funny.
EA, for me, Bethesda and EA are tied for third, simply because I'm an EA sports head.
I know that.
of course.
Wait,
NBA
you play
Live-
sports games? I didn't
Yes,
know
I
that.
do.
Oh my god.
NBA Live 16 looked really good, but there was no gameplay, which is kind of weird, which kind of bothers me.
Wait,
PJ
wait.
Rory
No, what
McIlroy.
do you mean no gameplay? They had like videos of gameplay.
That's
They
all
didn't
they
show.
had.
Oh.
There was no actual gameplay
No
itself.
actual
Oh.
gameplay.
Oh, I see.
Then Rory McIlroy, PJ Golf looks really good, and I've seen gameplay of it before, so I'm anticipating that. You know, the Pele presentation had me bugging because I'm like, oh my god, this is Pele, the greatest soccer player ever, and things like that. But like, and then Mirror's Edge, obviously. Bethesda, Keith, and myself and Keith and Doc, and we were all in there
I
just
was here.
talking
I was
about
here
it.
as well. Yeah,
And
yeah.
Will, and we were like, Doom, and then Dishonored 2, and then Fallout 4. And
Which is
so,
pretty much another Sims, yeah.
yeah.
Another Sims.
And then you have Microsoft and Sony tied for first. Microsoft and Sony for obviously different reasons. Horizon's a really, really, really good game. And so is The
Oh,
Right.
Last Guardian.
going to
Like,
hunt a robot dinosaur.
really,
Damn.
really good games.
Dude, New Age Turok, man.
Yeah, for real.
Yep.
Now you have Microsoft, who the tech head in me was like, oh shit, HoloLens looks really great. I didn't care too much about the Oculus Rift coming with the Xbox controller, and Gears, the Gear Ultimate Gears coming out to PC and Xbox. I'm in the Gears beta. It's a really decent reimagining and remake of Gears 1. Gears 4 was great. Halo was great, and Cuphead. Fucking Cuphead.
Oh my god, yeah, I
Oh,
forgot.
man.
That was like the best part of the
The
Xbox
best
Live.
indie game on Xbox Live.
Uh-huh.
Like, Cuphead was amazingly done. And then, like I said, for Sony was really, for me, I didn't care too much for Resident Evil. Wow, excuse me. There's so many remakes of these games. Not even funny. Final Fantasy VII remake. Because let's be honest, Tony said this to me. I mean, unless you give me some new bells and whistles, I'm not buying a game a second or a third time over.
Yeah, are we going to
What-
spend more time on that? Or
Yeah.
should we talk
we're
about it
gonna-
now?
Oh, let's talk about after Keith does it. We're going to go right to the Sony one.
I thought you
And-
were gonna skip me. Like, what the hell, man?
No, we're going to go. No, we're going to go. And then
Don't have abandonment issues, man.
Nah,
I didn't know
Shenmue
if we were
3
going to have a long discussion about it or if
Yeah.
we were just going to
And
say a
Shenmue
couple
3
words.
And Shenmue 3, on the other hand, I was excited for because it's coming to PC as well. So, But I think Sony had a slight edge because, I'm sorry, Worlds of Final Fantasy, sorry, he looks cute as hell. Like, it looks
But
really,
you
really
actually
cute.
like that?
It's cute.
Duh.
It's
Oh,
kind of like,
okay,
listen,
okay.
I've also played Tales of the World. So it's a similar concept.
And they played also
Yeah.
Theater Rhythm Heaven? Theater, the Final Fantasy rhythm game thing.
Yeah.
On the 3DS.
Sorry, the only rhythm game I play is for Rapper the Rapper. But Keith, what's your ranking, man?
Holy shit! Thanks for getting to me finally. So bottom of the list we have
I only
Nintendo.
took 2 minutes.
Jesus Christ. So the bottom of the list, we have Nintendo for obvious reasons. I won't go into that because we've already done that. Everybody's already pretty much said that. Square Enix is also following Nintendo. Um, Honestly, so is EA. I mean, EA had some
Wait,
nice
what?
EA, yeah. Because what actually did you show us other than we didn't already see before? The only real new thing you showed us
Battlefront.
was Battlefront,
And
And
NBA
and
Hearts.
Live.
that's been leaked to hell and back.
And NBA Live. NBA Live was the only other new thing, and some of the FIFA stuff as well.
I mean, you
And
showed it.
Catalyst.
I mean, everything you showed us was a repeat of last year. You showed us footage. You didn't show us any live action. That's great.
Right.
Great. That's great. I didn't come here for that. Thanks.
Fucking
Oh, what
tastic.
about Andromeda? What about Mass Effect Andromeda?
Oh, you showed us a trailer.
Very little.
Thanks. Following up EA is the PC Gamer Conference. As much as I am a huge PC Gamer fan, the only thing that really came out of it was currency coming to PC, which we knew was coming thanks to all the surveys from on
pretty
Combo
much.
Breaker. We knew that was coming, and the fact that No
by
Man's Sky was
Microsoft.
coming because everybody forgot that No Man's Sky was actually coming to the PC, but they just overlooked that for some obvious reason. Don't know why.
That Rising Storm trailer was pretty dope though.
Yeah, it was. That came out of nowhere. Now we know why it's taking them so long to finish Killing Floor 2 because they're working on that as well. Following up, Ubisoft. Again, Rainbow. We got Rainbow Six Siege. We knew about that. We knew about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Congratulations. Still haven't given us anything solid on the Division. Yeah, good job.
They did have
They
have
kinda
that what's it called, gameplay demonstration of the Division.
Yes,
still
a
really don't know
scripted,
what it
a
is, though.
scripted gameplay demonstration. Congrats.
Real talk. Keith, you know what we also forgot to really talk about with the PC Gamer thing? Enter the Gungeon?
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
That's
I thought
okay.
you was done. I thought you jumped
You,
ahead.
you want to
that's why.
rewind that a little bit?
Holy shit.
Go ahead.
I was going to announce the standouts, but that's okay. That was actually a pretty good title, but I played that at PAX East. I'm actually waiting to get my hands on Enter the Gungeon. But I talked about that before in the past, so anybody who listens to our past Compass has known my love for that game. And that's pretty much it. Tied for the second spot is Bethesda. Again, they only show footage, but that Megaton, that Fallout 4 is coming out in November. What they've done so far on Doom, they've actually got a lot further than people thought they were doing, and I've seen a lot of people complaining that it doesn't look like Doom of old. Shut the fuck up. It's a reboot of Doom. What do you want?
What did you expect?
We can't keep doing the same thing over and over, and the game is not done. And what they've shown us so far looks great. Chill out. Let them finish. Going from there, Microsoft and Sony equally had great hits, great announcements. Backwards compatibility for the Xbox. That's fantastic. Sony actually had a little more presence with the number of games they dropped. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't really care too much for it, but everybody else does. Horizon Zero Dawn looks fantastic. Uncharted's coming along. They finally showed The Last Guardian. Oh my fucking god! Finally, that looks great. It looks great, but I'm a little disappointed because it's been how many years now?
Since 2008.
I mean, I'm glad it's coming. Don't get me wrong. It just reminds me of Duke Nukem. Hey, I was in college when you said this game was coming out, and now I'm an adult. I have 2 kids, a wife, and a house, and it finally dropped. Holy shit. Getting back to Microsoft, I am a little disappointed with them because some of the games that were supposed to make an appearance at E3 at the last minute got shuffled to Gamescom, basically Scalebound and Crackdown.
I knew there was something missing. I knew
they were supposed to be coming, and they were like, they made it like a week before, like, they're not coming.
The same thing happened with Sony. There was other games that were supposed to come out.
Well, with Sony, the only big thing that really wasn't, and it was actually a combo effort, was Final Fantasy 15. Square stated that was going to be showing up at Gamescom. Sony pretty much showed all the big guns because they're not appearing at Gamescom this year.
Yeah, though I'll be, once this is over, I want to talk about the really big thing that pisses me off about the Microsoft and Sony. And that involves Ubisoft, EA, and Square Enix, man.
But yeah,
and Activision. Oh God, Activision.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, that's pretty much how I ranked them, and I'm pretty sure everybody was just ranked theirs as well. So if you asked me the best one out of all of them, if I had to pick just one, it would be Sony.
I think we would all go. I think we would all go with Sony.
Yeah.
I think we would all go with that.
Yeah,
unanimous.
I have to admit, yes.
I mean, I'm a Microsoft head. I mean, my whole house is like Microsoft stuff. But I'm sorry, Sony put on the best from a media standpoint, the best show.
The only thing that sucked about
Pretty much.
Sony is they didn't announce Gran Turismo 7. What the fuck,
Oh,
Sony?
that kind of pissed me off. I'm like, yo, son, come
I
on,
was
son.
like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Wait,
My
where is
bad.
it? Where is it?
All right, so before I split, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, naturally.
So,
And
I'm gonna talk about Activision. I'm gonna introduce the conversation with Activision, my points on Activision and the Final Fantasy, and then I'm gonna leave, and then everybody got the show thing because I have to go do something. This is recorded on Thursday, by the way, so I'll let you guys know. Activision, Activision goes where the money was. The money with the Call of Duty exclusivity thing, quote unquote. The thing about the DLC becoming first to PlayStation. It's happened the same in 7th Gen with Microsoft. And Activision goes where the money goes. It sucks because it's a really bad idea in practice, but what can you really do? You know what I'm saying?
That sounds understandable.
wait, do you know who Activision is?
Oh, I know who Activision is.
Okay, so you act like you're surprised.
No, I'm just letting everybody know. I'm not surprised. Like, this is
This is standard practice.
It's standard
this
practice.
Activision we're talking about.
And then Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm going to let Tony go off on this one as I leave. I'm sorry. Promised to us 10 years ago? No, I'm not buying that shit. Sorry. Tony, the floor is yours with that one.
Well, I mean, I've been flamed on the internet for like the last 48 hours talking about it, but I don't know, just as somebody from the standpoint of who's bought it twice and played 250 to 300 hours of the game throughout, both console and PC and maxing out this and that, I don't really see what you could get by just updating the graphics, especially at full retail price. I don't know what you guys think about that, but assuming the worst case scenario, we only get a graphic update and it costs $60 because it's coming to PlayStation first and it's going to be on a Blu-ray disc. It's not going to be download only. I mean, I don't see how you would sell a product that big and not put it on a disc. So I don't know what you guys think about it, but I'll throw in my thoughts as we go.
Well, I think, first off, it's pretty obvious. With that remake, what you're going to get. You're going to get the Crisis Core version of Final Fantasy VII. Basically, you look at the other one with endearment and nostalgia, and, it looks pretty cool with this cutscenes, but when you actually play the game, it looks like childish crap. Here, this is for those apprehensive about playing, what the so-called, quote-unquote, heavy, unquote, greatest RPG of all time.
Really? It is?
Yeah,
No, that's why I said heavy unquote. It is not my opinion. I think it's overrated, but some people are apprehensive of playing Final Fantasy VII even if it's recommended because of the graphics. Once you have this great, epic, dark story cloaked in appropriate graphics, then people will take it more seriously and, they'll be more willing to buy that. So that's overall the only purpose of the remake. Now, that in mind, with the graphical upgrade, could come some few new gameplay features just because of the modern age. Some shit is going to change just overall of being part of a new system.
And yeah, I just actually finished up reading an article, and the creator says, look forward to cloud cross-dressing.
Yeah, isn't it funny how their stance changed over the years? Because he was like, we're not going to give you a sequel. We're not going to remake this game. We're not doing anything.
This is the fucking emergency button.
And it's
That
like,
is-
here it is. Here it is.
Needed something. Sony's got nothing coming out in the short term. They needed something.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
But that's not coming out till when, though? When's Final Fantasy VII coming out?
It doesn't matter. It just makes hype for them,
And the thing about that is, and I think a lot of Sony fanboys are going to forget this, it's just a time exclusive. It's hitting all the systems. Well, it's not hitting the Wii U, but it's coming to Xbox One, it's coming to PlayStation 4, and it's coming to PC. So it's not a big, victory for you guys. It's everybody's going to get it eventually.
I'm under no illusions.
sorry.
It's awesome.
You were saying, Jason?
Oh, I was just agreeing with what Keith said.
And what was he talking about Activision? What was his gripe about Activision as far as Call of Duty? This is how it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
you get
shit.
every year you get another title. It's money,
I mean,
Destiny players know that all too well.
Yep, that's the same thing. And the only thing I can say about that, as an actual gamer and not a loyalist or a fanboy, though some people might claim I'm a PC elitist, the problem with stuff like that, and what really pisses me off is when you give a system a time exclusive or exclusive over over the duration of that title's lifespan, like Street Fighter, you're only punishing the fans who purchased the system of choice. That is not cool. I picked up this system because I believed that was going to be my beta, the best system for me. It had the games I want. And for you to tell me, oh, you can get Call of Duty, but you're going to have to wait a year or however long it's going to be because they gave us more money, so we're going with them. That's totally fucked up. Especially for games like that have been multi-platform forever. I didn't like the fact we want to do Call of Duty. I don't like what Microsoft is doing with Tomb Raider, especially since the first Tomb Raider reboot was on all systems. I don't like that, and I understand where it's coming from.
I kind of understand where it's coming from too, because I'm guessing like Squeenix. I think it's because Microsoft wants to establish a good relationship with Square Enix, but they know they cannot touch the Final Fantasy stuff, so they need to at least some of their good Western stuff.
Well, I don't even think they're trying to touch the Final Fantasy stuff, honestly. Microsoft has more money than Sony. Microsoft's pockets are deeper than Sony. They're not trying. If you notice that Sony has their hands in a lot of AAA titles coming out next year or so. Final Fantasy, Shenmue, Street Fighter V. And when you look at Microsoft, which is really funny because you're like, you guys have way more money than Sony does. Why haven't you done this? I mean, the only time they did was Tomb Raider, and that's it. It's like, oh. And it's a time exclusive. I thought about this for a while now. And, if Clint was there, he would debate me with this. But, Microsoft has Killer Instinct, which is great. It's a nice fighting game. I'll give it that. I play it every once in a while, and it's fine. But Killer Instinct is no Street Fighter. And for you to tell, all the owners of the Xbox One that you will never get Street Fighter V, you won't get Street Fighter Hyper Edition, you won't get Super Street Fighter V, you won't get it at all. That's kind of bad.
Yeah, far from me to excuse Capcom's behavior, because you know the rumor. It's Capcom is Capcom, and they're going to announce Super Street Fighter V for Microsoft a year later. But
they can't.
They can't because Sony got them by the balls.
Yep.
So
Sony
it's not like Capcom has a choice.
Nope, they have no choice. Sony's and somebody came out and said that Xbox One will never have Street Fighter. Will never have Street Fighter V ever. So get off your pandering. If you want to play Street Fighter V that bad, you're gonna have to get get on a PlayStation or play on your PC.
What the biggest problem with that is that the fighting game scene is erupting right now, and it's more popular than it's ever been.
Yep.
And now it's not that Street Fighter V needs to be on Microsoft consoles. It's that now Xbox is never going to bother to sponsor any event that doesn't have KI as a number one game, and it's not one of the 4 number one titles. And that's a huge problem for people like me that are involved in that community, because that's another sponsor in an already thin list of sponsors that we're not going to be able to get money from anymore. And there's a tournament coming up called CEO in Florida, where it literally has been sponsored, headlining by Microsoft the last 2 years. What's going to happen to that tournament? I mean, it's a great tournament. It's one of the best in the country. Is it going to be able to rerun anymore without that sponsorship money? Because why would Microsoft sponsor a tournament where their games aren't going to be played on Xboxes anymore?
Well, let's just hope that, for CEO, for example, that Sony picks up the tab, because Street Fighter V will likely be a headliner for that for quite some time. And going back again, I really don't think that KI is going to make a disappearance. It's a solid game, and back me up if you will. It's getting popularity. It's getting better. So it's doing I'll say decently in the fighting game community.
Tony, it's definitely getting up there.
They have often compared KI's popularity in the rankings close to Mortal Kombat. Is it like above, like more above, or near there, or like how far in the rankings Killer Instinct really is? Because I know it has a solid community, but it's not, like you said, it's not Street Fighter, it's not Tekken, may not even be MK.
It's not MK.
Well, the problem with Killer Instinct is obviously the console exclusivity. So the community is a huge online community. It's not really a community that shows up to a lot of tournaments because everyone's so spread out. And when people had to make that choice a couple years ago to buy an Xbox One or a PlayStation, a lot of people bought PlayStations, especially the anime players, because we all kind of knew that Guilty Gear, the new one, was only going to be on PlayStation.
Nepotism.
So, right. That choice alone swayed all these people that play Street Fighter in their spare time to just buy PlayStation anyway, and it ends up working out for them because they're going to get Street Fighter. So every community's popularity is hard to measure, except for Street Fighter, of course. But it always depends on how much the developer puts into sponsoring events and how many players continue to show up after a new game's initial release for like the first 3 or 4 months. Because after Evolution, a lot of games just disappear. So I would put KI probably, it's number one is Street Fighter, obviously. Number two, for consistency, like over the course of a game's life, is definitely still Marvel vs. Capcom for some reason. I don't understand it, but
know,
people love
right?
it.
It's an
It-
anomaly. It is
Right,
an
It
then you
anomaly.
needs
have-
to.
then
It
you have-
needs to go so bad.
Yeah, and then you have just a big cluster of Tekken, anime games, and Mortal Kombat and NRS other titles,
What
all
about
all kind of
the
level
Uh-huh.
because
I'm
all
sorry.
those games tend to just die after Evo. The community stops showing up for events, and the people that make the game stop sponsoring events and put in the pop bonuses and to get people to show up. So it's on par with those, and Killer Instinct is doing a good job. It's definitely one of the cleanest games. Definitely has one of the best online, but that doesn't necessarily translate into views and watcher popularity.
Then there must be an anomaly going on in the tournament scene because there is Smash Brothers. That's also another console exclusive title, and
Right.
Oh
Well,
not
Smash
many people
Brothers
want to
is
regard that as a fighting game that is getting the views, that is getting the money, that is getting the
yeah,
sponsorships.
but
And
you can't really talk about Smash Brothers with when you talk about the other games because they're too hard to compare. The Smash Brothers game that's played is a decade old. It's played on an old console. It's played on CRT TVs. It does have the best numbers. It does have the most people playing, but that's not making any money for Nintendo, and it's not making any money for
Yes.
sponsors. So it's there. It's part of the scene. It's always going to be at Evo because it's going to make a lot of venue money, and it's always going to be at every tournament because it's going to make a lot of venue money. But it doesn't draw in anybody to make the rest of any tournament popular, and it's going to get views. But again, the views on the eyeballs that need to be on watching these big events, these fighting game events, need to be people that are going to buy new products. They're going to buy AverMedia capture cards, joysticks, and new consoles, and that's how they get their big sponsor money. So
this
like, I'm
this
not
is
going to have the
probably
debate of
what.
whether or not Smash is a fighting game or not. It's there, but it's you can't really compare it to the rest of
Well,
the
yeah,
field.
this is probably why Nintendo was doing a big push for Smash Brothers 4 into the fighting game community. It's like, okay, we'll let you keep Melee, even though you're not supposed to be playing this, but you also got to play our new game, and you got to love it. Otherwise, we're not sponsoring you. Shit.
Yeah, and that's why you have the new Smash at Evo. Because if you didn't, if the Nintendo wouldn't do that, you wouldn't have it because you would get way more for Melee than you would
Mm.
get for that game.
But I guess like going back to Squeenix and stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god. I wanted to tear my hair out. I want to tear out every fucking follicle out of my head with that place.
Easy now, Carlos. Easy now.
Now, look, the thing is, with Sony, you have the large amount of Japanese developer support from that console, but they also knew who they were aiming at. Not just Japanese audiences, but also international audiences from across the world. So they were not only happy to promote their product, they were happy to interact with the customer, they were happy to even speak their language. Squeenix, on the other hand, not only had no experience presenting any of their products, none of them, okay, none of these guys bothered to get excited about anything. None of the guys had anything to show up unless it was either made by a Western developer or KI Kingdom Hearts 3. And when they bothered to show up, when they bothered to want to talk about it, they were doing it in such a polite, low tone manner that, guy, I'm sorry, I know you're in Cali, but this is not Japantown. You're not in a Japanese press conference. And a lot of these things are only appealing to a Japanese audience. I mean, guy, you're not even bothering to speak English. They had a translator who sucked ass at his job. He was the worst translator I've ever seen. And
I got a quick
you
question.
want to?
Like, does anybody remember at any point since the Square and Enix merger that they've looked particularly well together or good in any way? Like even just off of a game announcement outside of maybe Final Fantasy X?
Yeah, are you
Well,
talking about the company as a whole?
Yeah, the company as a whole, since they merged, does any moment in there, I don't know, it's been about what, 13 or 14 years now? Does any moment in your head stick out like when they looked like they knew what they were doing. They did a great job somewhere with anything.
I actually give them props. They do because they were behind the part of the revival of Tomb Raider and also revival of Deus Ex.
But does that really count as
I mean, like,
Squeenix?
I'm not
Or
saying did they put out any good games. They put out some good games, but like as a company, PR, a
No,
conference,
they suck at PR. No,
Right.
they're terrible at PR.
right,
terrible.
exactly.
You know what? I hate to say it, but even Konami can do a better PR presentation.
No, they
And they're
can't.
Konami.
No, they can't. You know why they can't? Because they ain't got
the
shit.
CEO is a complete clown.
Because they don't have anything. Once Metal Gear is out, like, Konami who? What did they do?
They're out. They're done.
Watch. Nobody's gonna care.
Actually,
Well,
me
I'm
and,
sorry, they got Yu-Gi-Oh. They still have Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Hank from Bulletproof was actually kind of worried what was going to happen with Konami because he didn't care about the company, but he was caring what's going to happen to all of those Yu-Gi-Oh players.
Yeah, they're gonna get Pacino machines.
So do you guys think this issue with some of these companies never having good showings is they don't care about America because they know they're going to make their money in Japan, or do you think it's something else? Like they just don't want to get a PR firm that like knows how to present to an American audience on staff.
I would go back to it's just the mentality that Japanese companies have put forth throughout the years. The only big Japanese company I can actually say actually does a fair share of advertising is Nintendo and Sony, and that's not 100% Japanese company.
And maybe Capcom. Maybe Capcom at some points. When they want to promote,
Capcom has stepped it up in the last few years for sure.
Yeah, Capcom is the most international friendly company in the world, even though, Inafune's. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit what Inafune says anymore.
They did have some money problems
a fraud.
last year, though, so maybe that's kind of why they're trying to hit Europe and America harder. Because
but think about this. Remember Capcom from back in the day where you saw commercials, you saw stuff in comic books, you saw here's a perfect example. How many people actually saw the original Street Fighter movie disc, the laser disc, or the VHS, not the shit they gave to us later on DVD?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it in the theater. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so if you remember, okay, so when it came out on VHS and Laserdisc and probably theaters, I never saw it.
Does that have to do with Betamax?
I'm talking about Raw Julia and Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
No, I'm talking
about. Of course.
No, I'm talking about the Street Fighter animated movie.
You mean Street Fighter 2, the animated movie?
Yes,
I had a VHS of that. Yeah,
they had. If you watch that, the original one, they've had commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial on that damn movie. Over and over and over. At the point I got all those commercials stuck in my head. That's how I vividly remember Capcom doing their advertising. They were advertising Mega Man. They were advertising Breath of Fire. They were advertising every game they had under the sun. And it was pretty much like
that's when like everyone had money. That was the 90s.
Going through the years.
Right,
well, I mean, look at it this way. How many companies can you actually think of? Japanese companies or companies that originated in Japan that do PR right now, that actually do advertising outside Nintendo and Capcom? Could you name even just 4 of them?
Well, you have to understand.
In the electronics industry, probably none.
There is advertising, but through a different medium. You see like advertisements all across the internet. You're never going to see anything on television or maybe comic books anymore because they don't.
Well, you still do. You still do from certain companies, though.
Oh, from the Western guys, yeah, they're still there.
Nintendo is still there. Nintendo is still there.
Well, Nintendo's a giant, a sleeping giant, a lazy giant, but still a giant.
But I mean, and what, like you said, and what you're saying, that's to be understood because the internet is the future. It has been the future for media for quite some time.
So
TV is a dinosaur. Put it that way. It serves its purpose, but it's dying.
But I was just saying, from a general public relations standpoint, like not even advertising, but like they can't ever seem to have a good conference. There's a lot of other developers we talked about. They can't ever seem to have a good conference. Is that something about they just don't? I mean, it can't be just a particular Japanese thing because
it is.
Tokyo Game Show is not even
exactly.
a shell of itself, right? So the companies are they just moving away from conferences completely and not bothering to spend the money on it, or
it is a very costly endeavor. I mean, Sega wasn't even there, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna bunk with Nintendo for a little while." No, you weren't. You were not even there. You had nothing. You had nothing to show. You didn't. You just announced Sonic and Mario at Rio, and you didn't bother to show your ass.
They were probably fearful the people were going to kill them.
Yeah, so they used to be like in past E3s, even the niche companies like Atlas, like SNK, like
Epochi
Bethesda,
software
Epochi software actually showed up to have their tiny little, a little corner
corners.
where they
Yeah,
showed off their
yeah.
product and that's it. But now they don't even want to bother because it costs too much and
Well,
there's
let
no
me ask you
audience.
this. Let me ask you this. Since we've moved into conferences and whatnot, which is actually a great topic, um, do you think it might be more along the lines that this is more like E3 is a PR? It's a giant PR conference. That's basically what it is. It's for investors. It's for insiders to get together, show off what they got, stroke their EP, and be done. Now, do you think it's because it's just that type of event, that type of organization, compared to say Tokyo Game Show and Gamescom, and even PAX East or PAX East, PAX in general? Because PAX, I feel, is a lot better than E3. There's a shit ton of companies that comes to PAX. On top
There,
of
Well, it's
there's
also
there's
more open.
always go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I feel like those other like E3 is so close compared to like PAX or
Yeah,
Gamescom.
I mean
Sure, sure, sure.
because I don't know how many you guys have been to. I've been to what 4 PAX East now, and even though sometimes it's a little it may be a little depressing, a little bum. Uh, there's never a shortage of panels. They're always overlapping each other, and there's always something awesome to see. The floor is always filled with people that want to show you stuff or give you hands-on or stuff, not just from major companies, but from smaller companies as well. And it's more than just a PR event. It's like a
it's a fan event. It's a
yeah,
proper
yeah.
convention.
It's for the fans. It's for the users. It's basically for you. Unlike E3, where it's basically like I say, it's all for the press, it's all for the PR, it's all for the investors. So it's closed. You think maybe it's because of lack of interaction, because people can't say, "Hey, this conference sucks." Because I don't think there was. Did you really get a sense of people being involved doing any of those panels? They were kind of like, "Yeah." Did you ever hear anybody go, "Boo, this
Uh,
sucks"?
Probably around the Sony and the Ubisoft, but that's mostly because everyone got excited about the games, and B, Aisha Tyler actually interacted with people. So
All right, let me stop real quick. Hey, everybody, sorry about that. So another one of our members jumped on. How you doing, Doc?
Hello, hello. I'm doing good.
So Doc is late. Real life. He just got done work. So Doc, so we're pretty much talking about what we feel about E3 and conferences. But the very first thing we did was go through order what you felt was the best, what you thought was the worst of the conferences, and which was the best. So your spotlight.
Well, first off, Bethesda, best, hands down. Hands down, Bethesda's the best.
Is that because you're a Fallout fan?
Well, maybe. But
bias,
No
bias
bias
no,
there.
they had a show that was great. I mean, they not only did they answer most of the questions fans had, I mean, they just gave us so much more. I mean, Fallout and Doom, and I mean, Dishonored 2. I mean, sure, that was leaked like the day before, but people were still iffy about if it was real. So, I mean, they just did a great job. They gave us what we wanted, plus more, and it was one of the best I've seen. Um, and as far as worst, I was at work, so I only saw like two conferences, so I'm not really sure who did bad.
Okay, well, what you've seen? What have you seen? You saw the Bethesda, obviously. What was the other one?
I did see Sony, and
Okay,
I'm a Sony
Uh-huh.
guy, PS4, PS3. I've had the original PlayStation. I'm a Sony guy, but I was disappointed this year with Sony. I mean, they
Oh,
opened up, they
Ooh.
opened up
wow.
with Last Guardian, and Shadows of Colossus was one of my favorite games of all time. And they opened with The Last Guardian, but it's not like they gave a lot about it. I mean, they showed, what was it, like a 3-minute gameplay trailer, and
that
I
was a
was just
demo.
Well,
disappointed.
that's kind of always how that studio has been though with those games. Those games are so like mysterious. Nobody knows anything about them until they come out.
I was kind of disappointed. Not with the Last Guardian, but I was kind of waiting for them, and I think we mentioned it when we were chatting because we were online when it was going on, and we were like, they're going to give us HD collections of Shadow of Colossus and Ico, right, 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 right. No,
Did they do that
They did
already?
that with PS3.
Yeah,
we went for the PS4, man. Come on, I mean we're getting Uncharted, remastered. Come on.
remasters of remasters.
Have you heard
Well,
of Capcom and Resident Evil?
Or Mega Man? We're giving you Mega Man 1 to 6, but we already got Mega Man 1 to 8.
You're getting it
And
again.
Power
Shut up.
Battles.
Well, they actually did
I
us a
do
service
have
by
to
cutting
say-
out 7.
Oh.
To be fair, on Mega Man.
I do have to say the Fallout, or not the Fallout, the Final Fantasy VII remake. That was unexpected, and that was a highlight.
What, no love
Okay.
for Shenmue 3?
I never really played Shenmue 1
You
and
gotta
2.
understand. You gotta understand. Shenmue is a cult classic. It has a following. Not everybody knows what that game is,
Yeah, I
especially
don't
the fact
even remember it being
Me
that
either.
big.
Me either.
that was back in the day with the Dreamcast. So unless you actually had a Dreamcast and actually played that game, you're not gonna know what Shenmue is.
I remember
Yeah,
seeing
I
it.
was
to
a
be fair.
young little
Yeah.
child.
I remember
And
seeing
plus-
it in EGM, and then I turned the next page, and it was about Sonic on Dreamcast, and that was way more exciting to me.
Oh, I had that issue. Yeah. I only got to play a demo of it, and at that time I thought it was boring. I thought it was gonna be another Streets of Rage. Turns out to be.
It's an
much
acquired taste. It's not for everybody, so that's fair.
No, nothing for not. And plus, like the only one that actually if not have a clue of Shenmue is only if you haven't played the Yakuza games recently, which is pretty much very similar in genre. So if you play Yakuza games, then you probably heard of Shenmue. Yeah, yes.
So the next thing we were doing, Doc, as we said, we Tony posed the question, why do you think that the well, you go ahead, Tony. Since you asked the question already, you go ahead and do it again.
Okay, so clearly you've seen ineptitude across several studios over the last few E3s, and I was just wondering, because I had this discussion with a lot of people, why do you think that the Japanese companies don't put the effort in to have a good show when E3 really is all about having a good show and getting the American public excited for all of their technology and what's coming out? Year after year, it seems like the same suspects we were talking about, Square and Ubisoft, always having like really lackluster and boring conferences where they don't even show off gameplay.
Well, Ubisoft is not a Japanese company; they're a French Canadian company. But
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like it's
Yeah,
we
I
can't
get
blame
it.
it all on the Japanese mindset, right? Because there's other companies that aren't Japanese that don't seem to care all that much.
yeah, that's true. That's true. They don't. It seems like they're more waiting for Gamescom because they're still like at their territory.
Right. And Keith was saying, is it now because people take regular conventions like PAX more seriously, and everyone knows EA is just a media closed door event, and that's why a lot of companies they value the public interaction more, and because that's a better gauge of what's gonna
Well, I want to
determine
ask
their
you,
stock
Tony.
price.
You mentioned that Tokyo Game Show was like a shell of its former self. Can you expand on that a little? Because
Oh,
I
you can
thought that was a
actually
lot better.
you can read all about that. The attendance level, the amount of companies showing up over the last 3 or 4 years, it's just gone on a just giant downward arc. It's not even me saying that. It's people from Japan wondering why their key convention is now like a footnote on the calendar.
I'm sorry, what the hell are all the Japanese developers doing if they're not waiting for Tokyo Game Show? Is everyone just going to converge in Gamescom?
Well, keep an open mind there. It could be a lot of things, and also keep in mind that Nintendo skipped Tokyo Game Show last year.
Yeah, and that used to be the
Mhm.
marquee conference in that part of the world, and it's just and who knows? You're right. It might be because of the people that run it, and the companies are not happy. So they have the authority. They could turn E3 over tomorrow if they all decided to not show up and go somewhere else, right?
I think there's enough companies that would fill in the gaps. There's a lot of
Right, that's
other
a doomsday
companies that
scenario,
would.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, if they all just stopped coming, obviously.
yeah, it was shit. I mean, EA, not EA. I mean, the E3 was already in danger of dying a couple years ago, as it was anyway.
Right. So I
So what
don't
do
know,
you think,
overall
Doc?
thoughts on like E3 and why it seems to be up and down all the time?
Well, I haven't given much thought into it, but just an initial answer would be that those bigger companies are content. Um, they're okay with doing a lackluster show. They're still going to get the sales, but then you got like a Valve, a Bethesda that aren't there every year, and when they do show up, it's a big deal. They actually go out for it. Um, maybe they should start doing that. Maybe skip a year or two and then come out and do really big, because otherwise, just over time doing the same thing every year, unless they get somebody in there to rev it back up internally within their company, It's just going to be, they're content with what they have. They're making good sales. So, they're not going to go all full out at E3.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because ultimately the only people that get hurt are the fans or the people watching it and expecting, a grand show because this only comes one time a year. I mean, for a lot of gamers, it's like the equivalent of Christmas. Hey, we're going to see some cool stuff coming out. And it's like, oh, this is very disappointing.
Yeah, this E3 is a highlight of the year.
Pretty much. Yep.
What about your take, Josh?
Joshy.
Josh snuck on here too. Hey.
Joshy.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man. Up, your turn.
Yeah, sorry, I just got home. So where are we? I know I'm just like jumping right in the middle here.
No big deal. So first thing we did was we ranked the conferences from worst to best or best to worst. So you're on.
Do you need the extensive introduction first? Because I know Clinton's not here to give you your what's it called? Cool wrestling intro that you show up every time.
I can just do it myself. And ladies and gentlemen, representing the Anime Pulse from the Outerhaven.net, please welcome myself, Josh, to the show. What's up, Josh? Hey, what's going on?
Sorry,
Whoa,
I'm
what was
not
that?
Jim Ross.
All right, so best conference. Well, you know what? Every single year, people are like, all right, Nintendo took it, Sony took it, Microsoft took it. Nope, not this year. PC Gaming Conference took it. Just kidding.
Ooh.
I'm kidding.
I was going to say, what?
No,
I thought you were going to go wild card, bitches. Bam!
No, I'll get to that part in a bit. But no, real talk, Square Enix, I think, actually took the conference for me because, I mean, Sony dropped the bomb with Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3, but got to think, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a Square Enix title. They also played the trailer there. They announced a sequel to Nier. They put out Just Cause 3. They did the Project Setsuna and Kingdom Hearts 3.
I Am Gundam Setsuna.
Yeah. And then the Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal, too. So if you want to talk about bombs getting dropped, Square Enix did it. And the reason why Square Enix is not really being talked about is because of the horrible presentation they had during the conference, where it's just a whole bunch of Japanese people speaking Japanese and a translator who actually forgot to actually translate at one point.
Oh, God. Yeah, we went over that. Oh, terrible.
Again, the only good part of that presentation, again, is the new producer with that freaking moon face head.
I've never played Nier. I just never got to it, but I will say they had a fantastic soundtrack. I still listen to that over and over.
I'm still trying to figure out which Nier I have to play. The one with the big beefy guy or the one with the skinny dude?
No, it's the guy with the white hair with that shoulder armor pad. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, but there was like two versions, one for the Americans and one for the normal people of Nihon.
Oh.
Yeah, because they didn't thought that Nier was going to do well in America, so they literally changed the model, and I think part of the story because now the guy is looking like he came out of God of War.
Yes.
And it's about a father trying to save a daughter or something.
Yes, that is the premise, and plus there's a hermaphrodite as well. Yes.
Okay, we didn't need to know that.
Something I didn't want.
Japanese stories.
Again, it's crazy. It's a crazy story. It's a crazy story.
Also, hold up. You said it was one of the producers who came in with the Moonhead. Are you telling me one of those guys from Platinum actually went up and with
No.
Moonhead?
Atsushi Naba, no. The guy Atsushi Naba, one of the figures of Platinum Games. No, is not him who had the physical head. Because if you remember correctly, the guy who makes Nier is also the same one who did Dragon Guard 3 for the PS4 recently. Yes, and he gave an interview, had a YouTube interview, which he used a seal puppet to give his interview.
Okay,
I'm not sure if you
he's an
remember
odd
that.
duck, but I like his style. Yo, big ups to Platinum Games. They got a big trifecta this E3. They're doing Star Fox Zero, they're doing the Nier, and now they're also doing Transformers Devastation.
Yo, and everybody who's shitting on Transformers needs to chill out. I know Korra wasn't exactly the best game, but it was playable. I kind of enjoyed it, and we don't know what they're doing. But they did acknowledge that Korra didn't go over well, so they did say it's not going to turn like Korra. I mean, seriously, you're going to get to play as Optimus Prime kicking ass. What more do you need?
In a Platinum game, in a Platinum style game. I never thought of Transformers that wasn't based on Michael Bay was gonna make it.
Whoa.
I mean, did you
well,
play the like
yeah,
Fall
Fall.
of Cybertron?
Yeah, those were great games.
Yeah, but they were
Those
also
were really
kind of
good.
bulky. So you don't really expect this kind of stuff from Platinum Game, who's used to like sleek, very intense, twitch-heavy action. And everyone went silent.
Crickets. I was just sitting there. I was just like going through G1 Transformers. Like I remember the Transformers being a lot more fluid and moving very fast and gracefully. They were not bulky. And then I remember playing Fall of Cybertron. I was like, yeah, they were kind of clumsy in that game.
It just pains me as a 90s kid to know I will never get an awesome Beast Wars in the same veneer as War of Cybertron or anything. Goddamn,
You can always
kids
fun.
conquered everything, man.
You could always put your own indie company together and just do it.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'll sign up for that one. I want to see that game.
It's all you got to do.
All right. But we can't call it Beast Wars or Transformers, so we're going to have to go to Kickstarter and make an XP of it, like everyone else. We're making a Transformers Beast Wars-like game, but we don't want to make the license. Please give us our money.
Hey, it'll work. Hey, it will work. If it's decent.
It worked for Inafune, it worked for Iga, and it's, well, okay. Shenmue 3, Yu Suzuki,
No.
Thing.
Let's not do that because Shenmue 3 is, and if you want to talk about this, we can talk about that. So Shenmue 3 is not, it's okay. It's an exception because if anybody's been reading or paying attention the last couple of days, the Kickstarter is just the gauge interest in the game. Sony is footing the majority of that bill.
Right.
And unlike a lot of rumor mongers, no, unfortunately, Yu Suzuki does not have the full license to Shenmue 3. He had to ask Sega. But since Sega really likes riding Yu Suzuki's dick, they said yes, no problems. Sure, just give us a little bit of the money.
And you had to think about that, for example, because everybody who's played Shenmue, you know that there's a lot of games in that game that are mini games or Sega games.
Yes,
so there's a lot of licensing in there that couldn't have made that game possible. Especially Shenmue and its iconic Outrunner arcade game in there. He kind of used that in Sega All Star.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
And let's be honest here. I mean, with the position Sega's been in for the past decade, if you have an opportunity to make some money, they're not going to say no at this point.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
Really? Give me an example.
Where's my damn Fenster Online 2 in America?
Where's my Yakuza 5 right now? Where's my good Sonic game?
No.
Better yet. Where's my Streets of Rage collection? You have never ported Streets of Rage since what, 2000, and that's only through live?
No. Well, they got Streets of Rage 2, but not the other ones.
We got a Streets Rage. We got a Streets Rage on the PC too with their collections edition, but that's about it.
What, you couldn't bother to actually resize it for the HD? You couldn't bother to actually give it some online features?
I think. Well, again, so yeah, Sega has a lot of poor decisions, and they do have an issue with not wanting money sometimes. I don't get it. This is Sega.
Let's not talk about Sega. We're going to do an entire podcast. Josh, you still haven't showed us what was the worst.
The list.
Oh, I mean, obviously it was the PC gaming conference. I mean,
whoa, Josh. Wait. I know I did. No, wait. I want to hear this, but I know I didn't think of it very highly either. But over Nintendo.
I
at
thought
least
it was worse than
Nintendo had Star Fox.
Oh,
I will say that.
Good sir.
All right,
go ahead. Even though it wasn't the Wii U version, we still are getting a brand new Zelda game. So at least there's that too. And in addition to that, at least Nintendo also showed off Super Mario Maker and kind of gave us an idea of how it's gonna play. And that's actually a highlight for me because I really love the idea of making my own Mario levels. But the PC Gaming Conference, congratulations, we're getting Killer Instinct on Windows 10, and we're also getting No Man's Sky on Windows 10. That's cool. The rest of it was a very long segment just showing off some electronic porn in the new AMD cards, and then the rest of it was a whole handful of non-trailer trailers. That's all the conference was. Okay, here's 3 seconds of nothing. buy my game. And then there was this one part where this one dude was just standing there twitching, and then just had like this awkward pause for like 30 seconds, and like, what the hell was going on? Did he shoot up before coming out here?
Hold up. Was the game called Untangled or Unraveled? Because the guy who
Maybe?
did
No,
was
that
for
was for
Sony.
no Ravel was for
Yeah, but the guy who
Rikers.
was there for Sony or EA, I forget. He did the same thing too. He was so fucking nervous. Like, oh God, I hope you like Yarny. I really, really hope you like Yarny. Please notice me, senpai. And like, oh, guy, calm the fuck
Did
down.
you just say that?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He
yeah,
did.
But
yeah, he did.
at the PC conference, how the hell could you be nervous? Did you even look at the crowd? There's like 18 people there staring into a fucking tablet. How do you get nervous with that? They're not even looking at you.
I will admit I was kind of disappointed. I did not like the format of that show whatsoever. I was like, wait, why are they doing a talk show format? This is garbage. And then half the people got up there.
Cue cards? Oh my god!
And then half the
we're
people,
gonna be here forever.
And then the half people that came up to this show was like, some were interesting, some were like, this is my game, this is this, goodbye. Like Soma, hey, we're working on Soma. Here's a quick clip, and then he was gone. I was like,
See you
really talk about your game, man. What the hell?
No, I don't like E3.
I will give them credit though. There was one title that did get shown off that really piqued my interest, and that's Enter the Gungeon.
Yes. Everybody that knows about me and that game, I've been talking about the game ever since I came back from PAX. That is a fantastic game. I'm bugging the hell out of developers to give me a beta or a preview of that game. I'm still bugging them.
But yeah, that whole PC conference was pretty bad. The fact that it went for 2.5 hours like that pretty much killed Nintendo's, big black cloud over their head. And yeah, Nintendo's was actually pretty bad too. I did like the Muppets thing. That was kind of cute, but it died after like 30 seconds.
Also, keep in mind, Josh, that computer PC Gamer Show was actually supposed to be 3 hours, and then they delayed it the last minute.
Oh God.
They kept everybody in the chat room. They kept everybody in the channels by, streaming trivia for the first hour.
Thank God I never bought a show up. Thank God.
Well, this is all I can say about it. This is what happens when you get a conference sponsored by AMD. Hopefully next year they'll sponsor it by NVIDIA and we'll actually have something good.
Oh, Lord.
What if it gets sponsored by Titans? Titans! You actually could have had some decent meals. Titans.
Whoa! I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm just going to sit here about Titans because I want one.
All I'm going to say is that I'm glad I skipped Nintendo and the PC Game Show.
Wow.
After hearing what you guys have to say, I'm kind of glad I was at work while they were going on.
Well, Doc, unless you were really hyped up for Star Fox, there really wasn't. You didn't miss much.
All right, so
and plus the rec is on Nintendo, so you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
the World
that's what I said.
Championship.
I'm glad
though,
I didn't see him.
World Championship was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty hype.
That was fun.
I didn't think that was going to be any worthwhile watching, but it actually was pretty decent. It reminded me back in the days of the Wizard. Like, holy shit, this is actually happening.
And before they revealed it as it's Metroid, but it's not Metroid.
Don't mention that damn game.
Well, before you knew it was a Metroid, you did like Blast Ball, right?
No.
You thought it was okay.
No.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that trailer. I was taking notes with a pen, and my jaw fell open, and I dropped my pen. Literally, true story. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then they showed the Metroid logo, and I'm like, done.
I thought you would have broke your pen by then, man.
Well, actually, when I first saw Blast Ball, I thought it was like, is this Griffball from Halo? I was like, oh, it's not. That's the first thing that went through my mind anyway.
It's the death of Metroid. It's the death of Metroid because, no other company is actually doing any decent 2D Metroidvania type games whatsoever. I mean, nobody can do a game like Metroid Justice.
But that's the problem. Everyone has been begging for another 2D Metroid for like ages, but unless it's Prime, Nintendo doesn't even want to touch it. And it's like, okay,
I don't even want them to touch it anymore.
I'm the guy who made Prime Hunters. I want to do a Metroid game. What is it? It's like Prime Hunters. Close enough. Go ahead, do whatever.
Yeah, no. Nintendo just needs to, put the license of Metroid on the shelf and never touch it again.
Well,
don't touch it.
hopefully they can fix a lot of problems going on in Star Fox Zero, because otherwise, if Star Fox Zero does lukewarm over the holiday season, and it probably is based on what's going on, they're not going to touch any of their ancillary
Are you crazy?
products.
Star Fox is going to sell on name alone.
Oh yeah, it will. But here's my qualm:
Yeah.
Shigeru Miyamoto is the creator of both the Star Fox series and the Legend of Zelda series. How come the Legend of Zelda Wii U at last year's E3 looks absolutely gorgeous 1080p, and Star Fox Zero looks like an up-res 3DS game?
Because Onuma runs the Zelda series and he knows what the fuck he's doing, and Miyamoto is a senile, crazy old hobo that Nintendo lets live in their company.
Mad
of
much?
course-
Holy shit!
Yeah, that much. Look. Everyone over here should be thankful for the hard work and creativity of Shigeru Miyamoto. That much is there. That much is said. His legacy will be forever cemented in the annals of time. And thank you, Miyamoto. But your time has passed.
That totally sounded like you took it out of Soul Calibur. Just saying.
Yes,
Yeah, dude.
I should be the new announcement of
Soul Calibur 6, dude, character poll. It was they finished it.
There's not gonna be a 6.
No,
And if there
probably
is,
not.
if there is, Bandai Namco is gonna do a worse job as they did with the. No. God
5?
damn it,
Yeah,
man.
you could just say it. 5. 5 was awful.
No. Tekken Cross Soul Calibur. Let's go.
Well, Tekken Cross Street Fighter's got to come first.
And
that's not going.
Harada is screwing
Yeah.
up his own series in order to figure that out. How do you throw fireball? I know. I'll put that in Tekken 7 and see how that goes out. Meanwhile, you got Smash Brothers actually trying to figure out how to do a fireball, and well, okay, they sucked at it. But where was I? Oh yes, Miyamoto. Thing is with Miyamoto is you have younger. It's time for him to go. It is time for him to go. He has a lot of great ideas, but it's time to hand over the torch to a younger set. We have Onuma, we have Sakurai as long as we have him, as long as they don't piss him off. And we have new guys. We have the team who brought us Splatoon. How many new IPs that Nintendo has ever created had that amount of hype and sales? Ask me. It is nothing from Miyamoto, that's for sure. So it's Miyamoto's fault that we're not getting any online multiplayer. How the hell do you have no online multiplayer in a Star Fox game? Come on. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I have to admit, yes, it was definitely a missed opportunity for Star Fox multiplayer. I mean, heck, having dogfights online.
I don't even think we're gonna have local multiplayer because does Miyamoto expect 3 other people to buy Wii U gamepads in order to use that comp?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. I was going to even say, do you think the Wii U can even handle it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Nope. Sorry.
As much as I hate it, yes. I mean, heck, again, Splatoon is the only good prime example of a great multiplayer game, which I was very surprised. So yes.
And it's so sad because as much as I wanted Bandai Namco to come back and do a follow-up to Star Fox Assault, I don't give a shit how many people hate that game. I thought it was really good. I love it. Platinum has been begging Nintendo to get stuck, and this is the result. Come on.
Really? It was, I mean, fairly decent from Platinum. I don't think it's really that bad.
It's gonna be a decent amount because they have decent ideas. The transforming vehicles look interesting. For as many people like to bitch about the graphics, it's still 60 frames per second. The bosses looks challenging. It does look fun, but the control scheme is going to ruin it unless they figure out an alternative for people who want more traditional stuff. And the lack of multiplayer is going to kill it.
Nah, I mean, I would rather you focus on a single player. I mean, you don't need to have multiplayer for every game on this planet.
Star Fox. Look, it's one thing to talk about that with Zelda, with Mario, with Earthbound, with Fire Emblem, but this is Star Fox. The multiplayer is one of the key components.
It was.
This is going to be the
Star
first,
Fox
like,
it really was.
Well,
the multiplayer. The multiplayer.
This is going to be like the first
hours.
legit Star Fox game we're going to be getting in a while, like an old school Star Fox 64 game, and I would be worried that they would mess up on the multiplayer. So I'm okay without the multiplayer. Let's see how they do with this. If this goes by all right, then maybe they can try a shot at multiplayer. But otherwise, right now, the way I see it is that if they try multiplayer now, there's a very high chance they would just mess up with the multiplayer.
Right, right. And plus, like, Star Fox and the multiplayer, I mean, yeah, since Star Fox 64, that multiplayer was very damn fun with Landmaster and tanks. And then there's like, did the DS game for Star Fox ever had multiplayer?
Command had online and local multiplayer, but it was mostly R-Wing. Assault has the best multiplayer because they had R-Wings, Land Masters, and on foot with like multiple mission.
That was fun. Yes,
that was
I like
sniper battles was hilarious. I love that shit.
Yes, I remember that. Very good times. And plus a jetpack, naturally
The
jetpack.
jetpack was really good. But yeah, it had strong multiplayer features, but it didn't really, they had a nice single player, but it was too arcadey to, really take seriously.
Is it really such a bad thing? I mean, heck, arcade games getting the high scores, all that. I mean, is it really such a bad thing?
Maybe for a mobile game, but for like something you spend $60+, really? I mean, maybe that's just me, dude.
Well, hopefully they'll probably expand on regarding to more levels. I mean, heck, plus, like the way the boss battles has been played out, I mean, it definitely has the platinum touch. Literally, it has the platinum touch regarding to the boss battles. So, one thing's for sure, I gotta get my hands on it to give passing any judgments. But I have very good faith in platinum games since, like, hello, they're pretty much the king of the action game genre. So I have good faith with them.
Except for Korra, right?
Well, yeah, that was that one. They're allowed one.
There are exceptions.
All right, guys. So we're at the end of the show. Is there anything anybody wants to bring up before we call it wraps?
Hey,
down, forever hold your peace.
This Fallout Shelter mobile game that they announced, this game is legit. I've
Yo,
played it
no,
24/7
no.
straight now.
I'm hating on that game, and you know why I'm hating on that game.
Oh,
I don't know why.
There's no Android version.
Yes. Same here. I'm on Android.
Come on. This is not 6 years ago, guys. Come on. You put it on iOS, you put it on Android and Windows. iOS and Android.
This happened in the fighting game community too. I don't know if you guys saw the BlazBlue Battle Cards thing. Like they finally made a card game for fighting game players, and it's only on iOS.
Yeah, it's given to the company that
you could have had my money, but now you don't have any of my money.
Let's put it on the OS that doesn't have the majority of mobile gamers now. Good job.
Let's do it on the OS that kind of crashes and freezes on barely every app that isn't like an endless runner or something like that. Now this is why I came in late, because I got me a new LG G4. No
Holy
more Apple
shit! He is on Android. Oh my god!
I am on my way to freedom.
Holy
Soon I will have a PC to replace my Xbox 360, and then I will have a Wacom Cintiq Companion 2 as soon as I get the money.
You could get an Xbox One and play Xbox 360 games. I'm just joking.
I know. You will want me. You're secretly like, come, Carlos.
Dude,
come
no. I mean, seriously, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. You know, we keep talking like, hey, there's Shantae over here.
Shut up. Shut up. I have the 3 Shantae games already on my 3DS. I am gonna wait until they come into the Wii.
Shantae for the Wii. Oh my god, yes.
I was disappointed that what's it called? Way Forward did not show up at E3. I thought they were gonna get a little more attention, like I said, indie game over at the Nintendo Treehouse. Nope, nothing.
Why would they get any attention at Nintendo Treehouse? This title is not strictly Nintendo anymore.
But they have been hyping it. Nintendo has been hyping Shantae a lot recently.
I don't know why.
Plus, come on, it's Shantae. She needs it.
Shantae.
She needs it. Come on. Plus, if Sakurai ever comes back from his stress-induced insanity of being locked away in Satoru Iwata's dungeon, doing nothing but coding for Super Smash Brothers, maybe, just maybe, he'll consider Shantae for Smash 5. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, anything's possible. Ryu's in there, so hey, anything is possible.
Yep.
Just don't hold your breath.
And my final thoughts, this was not shown at E3, but it launched during E3, so I'm going to basically count it. Hearthstone's new mode, Tavern Brawl, complete fucking garbage. Worst content they've ever released for the game ever. Done.
Wow. And
Uh,
you're a huge Blizzard fan.
I am. I'm a huge Blizzard fan. Essentially, Tavern Brawl, they started off by announcing Ragnaros versus Nefarian, so you can control one or the other, which is pretty cool. But there's no balance to it. Nefarian just like wins like 100% of the time because he is so much better. He starts off with like 5 mana, gets like overpowered cards and all this good stuff. And that's it. Once you win once, you get a free card pack, and there's no incentive to keep playing. All you do is just keep racking up wins if you're lucky enough to get Nefarian in the coin flip. So, yeah, that's it. No rewards whatsoever outside of the first win, and that happens once a week. Complete garbage.
Wow.
damn.
So, good job, Blizzard. You pissed off your number one fan.
See, I guess what my final thoughts is like, and Carlos, I'm not sure you checked out the day two of the Treehouse Direct, but for the at the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem game, the FE, do you know they have a Splatoon cameo?
Oh,
Wait,
Lord.
what? Oh, that was
Yes,
fast.
there's a Splatoon cameo in that crossover game of Shin Megami and Fire Emblem. I was like, is that Kelly and Marie? I was like, holy shit! I don't care. It's a bit on the Reddit boards right now, but yeah, I think there is a Splatoon reference.
That was fast. Yo, Splatoon is going everywhere. My brother and I just remarked like, okay, I know this says Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, but did this me or is this more Persona Cross Fire Emblem? Because this is straight up Persona. This is straight up Persona.
I wouldn't say Persona is like, okay, 10% Persona, 10% Shin Megami Tensei, and 80% Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, also pick up to Atlas being patient as fuck, because if I was Atlas, I would be all over the place with Persona 5 info. It's like, hey, this is one of the biggest RPGs coming up. We're not telling you shit. But hey, enjoy Final Fantasy VII.
I am still pissed because they only just had an English trailer of the of the Persona 5 review trailer, which I'm pissed still. God, and it says that it's gonna be coming up in 2015, but I want my info.
Hey, it's good to keep you in suspense, man. I think that's great.
Not much of that anymore.
Yes, and of course I'll be continuing to just dig in more on Xenoblade Chronicles X. I mean, hopefully we hear more regarding to the English voice acting, so I can't wait for that.
All right. Anybody else have any more final thoughts before we close it out?
I'll give you Fighting Gamers like final kind of perspective. The coolest thing that happened for me was the Street Fighter V exhibition, and you can check that out on.
I
Capcom
saw
Fighter.
that.
Oh,
I
yes.
saw that.
Yeah,
man.
and so this is the big thing. We haven't seen a lot of gameplay yet. We finally got to see a bunch of top players play the game. And
Yo,
if you sat out Street Fighter 4 because you're an OG and you really like Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 3, this game looks great to be the spot where you get to come back in. Focus attacks are gone. There's
Thank
lots
you.
of cool niche things that like old games used to have. The parry is sort of back. Like everyone kind of gets like a Yun cheating meter now, like custom combo. Like my meter does extra stuff plus it looks way better. It looks less cartoony. It looks like the old Sprite games. It looked awesome. I'm excited for Street Fighter, and I haven't been able to say that since the anniversary collection for Xbox, Street Fighter 3 and Super Turbo.
and freaking Nash plays nice. I can't
Yeah.
wait to play him.
I'm glad
And Chung Li. I'm glad they got rid of some of the charge moves and made them, quarter circle instant moves. That's really nice.
Well,
Me, Ness, and Nitro was actually talking about this yesterday. Like, we wanted to see what kind of characters we wanted to show up in Street Fighter V and how would they play with their V-isms. Because looking at the reveal going with Capcom and Cammy and Birdie, it looks like Capcom is actually diversifying their roster to include more interesting characters. And like, I'm hoping this means less Shotos.
Shut up,
more
Carlos.
No, I don't care. I'll excuse you if you could get Akuma, but as long as he plays different, drastically different, then come on.
Ken and Ryu have not played the same in God knows how long. Come on.
Street Fighter 1, really.
But
I mean, at
ultimately,
the top level.
Yeah, on top level. But ultimately, I would like to see, if I want Ken back, have him be at least for like his Omega mode. His Omega Male played like a really nice new character, but it's still familiar enough for Ken fans to could you hop into.
Well, all that aside as well, it's a really good direction. I mean, it's finally nice to see it played, and it's really cool that we can get like the people like me who have been kind of like soft on Street Fighter since 2008 now have something to look forward to.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
One question: is there still a level where you beat the shit out of a car? I haven't played Street Fighter since like Sega Genesis, so
That hasn't been in since Street Fighter 2, and there's been a large community call for that to be reinserted into the game. So don't be
Yes,
surprised if there's like a little mini game stuck in, even if it's in a backdoor menu or something.
Actually, you can play that in Super Street Fighter 4 and Ultra Street Fighter 4. There is the car breaking game. There is the barrel buster. The only thing that's missing is the parry with the basketballs. I missed that. I missed that so much.
You just it's just not part of the arcade mode. You're not required to do it anymore, which is, arguably a better way to have it done. But don't be surprised if it's also in Street Fighter 5. People seem to like that a lot. A lot of people were complaining about Mortal Kombat not having like the old brick breaking game brought back.
What,
Brick
X?
Break.
Right, yeah.
I thought they had that.
They said they were going to, but I don't know. I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I didn't buy it, and
They
I
have
didn't see
that.
anybody trying it.
They have that. The Test Your Might. Yeah, they have the brick breaking game. It upgrades. It's kind of like a text contextual thing because you kind of have to hold the button for how long, and if you let go at the wrong minute, they're gonna kill you.
Right.
Well, it's cool that they brought that back too. But I mean, for me, at Tekken 7, if they bring back Tekken Bowling, I'll be happy for the rest of my life.
So is that it, Keith, or is there any more final thoughts left?
We have I have a lot more final thoughts, but ultimately, I want to save them for another podcast because, damn it.
Yeah, we're
Too much to talk
here
about.
all night. Yes.
We'll be here all night.
I was just surprised we actually saw gameplay of Horizon. I mean, just a week ago, that was like a rumored IP. Not only did we see a trailer, we saw like full-on gameplay.
I mean, I'm not too excited about it. It doesn't look that original. It's dinosaurs that are machines and cavemen that have weapons. I mean, if the gameplay comes out really good, that'll be good. But otherwise, right now, just like what I saw, not too exciting.
But dino robots.
Dino robots, and you hunt them for dino robot meat. For some reason, I don't know how humans have evolved into eating machines, but yeah. Who doesn't want to hunt the Cyber T-Rex?
I don't know. It just doesn't look that exciting.
Jeez.
Maybe I'm still recovering from like Shadowfall and Killzone 3, so it's like,
spoiled.
True.
So there's Keep-san, Taicho, still there?
Taicho!
Captain, Kifu!
Earth to white base.
all right. Well, I guess this is the end of the show.
This is where it gets edited right here.
Yeah. So I guess I'll probably say it. So on behalf of the Outerhaven podcast, my name is William Coconuts. The other guys, bye.
Bye, bitch.
Bye.
Bye.